hard to believe we're in season 3 of the show and have yet to do a zombie movie. I don't have any bias towards them, but if I'm being honest, it isn't my favorite subgenre of horror. The word zombie has become so indoctrinated in the pop culture lexicon, though, that it leads me to wonder what current fears are driving their popularity. Every movie monster is a metaphor for the anxieties and fears of its current audience, regardless if it intends to be or not. For example, in 1956, the release of the original Godzilla movie, a giant radioactive lizard who destroys Japan after an atomic bomb wakens him from his long hibernation. With Japan being the only nation to have been attacked with atomic bombs, the correlation isn't that hard to see. All horror movies are like that if you look hard enough. So when looking at the rise of zombies, I wonder what they represent. Many point to the connection between Christianity, while others claim that zombies are a metaphor for our own aging bodies, the elderly being a constant reflection of our own imminent fate that we're all going to face one day. While it's neat to ponder these ideas, I believe the recent resurgence of zombies can be attributed to us, the fans. The plethora of ways to kill a zombie has kept generations of fans coming back for more. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite zombie movies, Dan O'Bannon's The Return of the Living Dead. Released on August 16, 1985, the comedy horror mashup was a box office success grossing over $14 million. Return of the Living Dead has lived on to reach cult status and even has a 91% Rotten Tomatoes rating. Pretty impressive. While I know it's almost horror blasphemy to have our first zombie episode not be a Romero film, but with this week being 4th of July, I saw no other way fit to kick off the holiday week than with my favorite 4th of July movie. I'm sure each of you have a comfort movie you watch when you're feeling bad. This is mine. If you're here with us, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and without any further introduction, here's our take on The Return of the Living Dead. Boom! Welcome to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. And back again for another week, clapping them cheeks, the best producer in the whole wide world, Mr. Ozark Mark. Ozark, how we doing today?
Hello, Christian.
What's going on?
Are you ready to party?
Dude, I am so ready to party. 4th of July. Now, I know not all of you listeners are American, and this isn't a flex. 4th of July isn't a flex, but it is a fun holiday for us. For the fact that we don't have to work. Everybody loves getting off work and lighting off fireworks, right?
Especially when you mix the two together.
Exactly. Maybe you lose a couple fingers. It's not a big deal. But something I do every 4th of July is watch The Return of the Living Dead. Are you familiar with the film, Mark?
Yes.
I love this movie.
It's a very fun time movie for sure. In that category. If you're going to put this movie in a category of the horror categories, fun time is right in there.
I like that we've kind of invented that category. Like that, we didn't make the movie, obviously, and comedy horror has obviously always been a thing. But I like that subcategory of fun time because there's a few films that fall in there, like Terrifier falls in there. Terrifier is a fun movie. This movie, The Return of the Living Dead, is probably, it's definitely a contender for number one. It's just a lot of fun. I don't think it scares many people. Do you, Mark?
No.
I don't think it would. This is...
Even if you were a little kid, now, you can just tell because, some of the special effects, they're pretty good, but it still looks like cheesy, kind of. You can tell it's cheesy. Now, I'm not saying that's bad because I love the cheesiness of it.
Me too. Me too.
But I don't think kids would be scared because it's too quirky and too
it's too camp. It's and camp is a lot of people don't understand that. It's like or they'll see something satirical and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you see how cringy that guy is?" And you're like, "Dude, that's satire. That guy's not. He's kidding. He's joking." And some people don't understand that some of these flicks are made to be funny, to be hilarious. And Dan O'Bannon is the director of this movie. And if you guys are unfamiliar with it, go watch it. But I'll give you I'll fill you in a little bit.
Take me through it.
Yes. Now, this is labeled a horror comedy. So I don't want you guys to have the intentions like this is going to scare the socks off of you. This is going to terrify you. No. depending on your personality, this is like a 50-50 if you're going to like this or not.
If I would say if it wasn't for so much cussing
Yes.
in it, this would be the perfect movie in the fall time around Halloween at one of those like cemetery campouts or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about? Or late night movie nights.
Absolutely, Mark. This is a summertime movie to me, and it takes place on 4th of July. So back to I'll wrap it up for you boys and girls. So there's a young kid. He's like in his 20s. His name's Freddie, played by Tom Matthews. He's, Friday the 13th series. He ended up playing Tommy Jarvis. Anyways, it's his first day on the job. He's working at like a medical supply lab. They have all kinds of stuff to send to scientists, to doctors, and they keep all kinds of weird shit, even like body parts and stuff. So it's his first day on the job. He's getting trained by this really funny older gentleman named Frank. And, Karras. What's that guy's first name? He's a great actor. That guy was in Wall Street. He was in a bunch of things. He just passed away not too long ago. But that guy is hilarious. He's training this kid, Freddie, on the job. And he's like, hey, man, a long time ago, there was an experiment gone wrong. And the government sent something to us. And they weren't supposed to send it to us, and it's down in the basement. It caused a big disaster. It's like this gas or whatever. He said it inspired the Night of the Living Dead movie.
Yeah, I like how they tied that movie into this a little bit right there.
Because it's that's a George Romero flick, and that was one of the first zombie movies, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was I don't want to say it's the first because there was like White Zombie, like Bela Lugosi, like old school, but this was but that was more of like voodoo zombie. You know what I'm saying? This Night of the Living Dead was like your first. We're eating body parts.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah, I love that scene.
Those zombies in that movie, real quick, are some of the most terrifying ones.
They are gruesome.
They're the most human and they're intelligent. Like, they're fast, too. Like, the zombie knows to grab a rock and try and break the girl's car, for God's sakes. Like, that's scary. It's not like the modern-day zombies we're used to now.
I know. I can't wait to do an episode on that movie.
And in this movie, The Return of the Living Dead, the zombies are also intelligent.
Yeah, they're swarmers. So, this is the first zombie movie we have where they're talking. So, Freddie, the character, he's learning kind of the ins and outs of the job from Frank. Frank tells him that there's this weird gas in this thing down in the basement. Apparently, it caused a big accident, and the government accidentally sent it to them, so it's been locked down there. He's like, you want to see it? They go down there, check it out, and Frank's cleaning it off, and all of a sudden, boom, gas starts leaking out of it. They fall to the ground. They start not to feel well. Bodies start coming out of graves in the cemetery. People start turning into zombies. It gets really fun. It gets really fun. It kind of bothers me to the point, though, now, Mark, where I'm not saying I can't watch a comedy movie. I love to laugh, but I tend to, when I'm looking for something funny, I go towards movies like these. And I'm serious. This is at the top of the list. Mental health's a thing. If you're sad or depressed, please play this. Yeah. If you're having a bad day today, watch this.
Yeah.
You won't be anymore. Mark, I want to talk about a little bit, too, kind of because I don't want to say lightning in a bottle because it's a classic. It's not a random. Because Dan O'Bannon, he's a great director. Did Alien, he's there. So I think what makes this work was the 80s. And this came out in 85. And the punk scene, this movie was for punks. There are so many punks that love this movie because it had such a great soundtrack that just full of punk rock. The characters were punk as fuck.
Yeah.
They gave no fucks whatsoever. And I feel like they captured the essence of that well. It wasn't a poser thing. It was great.
Yeah.
And what's also fun, too, I like what they also incorporated, and which is incorporated in every punk group. And I'm not punk, but I know this. There's always the cat that dresses super normal. He's like super buttoned up, but he's the punkest of them all. Like he won't conform to the punk dress that he's like,
Yeah.
He's like, they have every character in this movie. So some of there's a few people in these in this movie that have been in a lot of horror movies, like Lynnea Quigley. She played Trash. She's the woman. She's a zombie in this movie. Who's naked, pretty much the whole thing. And if you've seen Lynnea Quigley in any movie, you've seen her boobies. That's just the way it works.
Good for her. Very, very big fan of her work. You know what I mean?
Me too. I like that too, because in that day and age, it was like, sure, I'll take a part. I'll show my boobs. And I'm sure there were a lot of girls who got like kind of trampled on just trying to get famous. Lynnea Quigley's like, fuck you, I'll show you my boobs. How you like that? Like, it's like a she was always very confident, and she's just one of my favorites, man. I loved her in Night of Demons when she was shoving like lipstick in her nipples. Like, it got weird, but she did it, man. She did it. So, the acting helps out significantly with this movie. And then, oh boy, I forget his name. The fella from Friday the 13th. He gets stabbed in the stall. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Yeah, he died too. What? Oh, that guy's name's slipping me. But it's just a bunch of actors who are familiar with horror movies, and you can see that when it's on screen. Everybody is having a fun time, and it's right in the middle of that 80s boom.
Yeah, it's 80 as hell. The score is good too. The non-word music, the score to this.
Oh yeah,
very, very fun. Very good. But then you cut in the 80s rock in it. Just, are you ready to ride? And all that.
Do you want to party? That was the coolest scene. So there's a part like where the gas is escaping into this whole community, and it gets up into the clouds, and it starts to rain, and that's what brings the dead bodies out of the cemetery. And when they start popping out, they cue this song, and it's super loud, and that's what, do you want to party? Like, anybody who watches it immediately, like, your hands are up, like, yes, yes. I think the neatest part with any kind of zombies are it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of, you have to be creative in how you kill these things, and they go out of their way. And most zombie movies, and this being, no exception, there's so many different kind of deaths in this. A, to humans, but then B, how they're killing zombies. And there's all different kinds of zombies. I can definitely see the appeal of how some horror directors and makeup artists get stuck in the zombie world, almost like a Greg Nicotero, because he doesn't want to switch. He likes being in it. The guy like does Walking Dead, kind of Tom Savini's apprentice, if you will. But I can see how people get stuck in that, because zombies have so much versatility where you're like, all right, this is a skateboarder zombie, so we're going to have him. Like,
you can pretty much do anything you want.
Yeah, this is a half a zombie. This is just a head. And they did that. They did that.
They had all kinds of zombies in there.
Yeah, man. And
anything you could think of is probably in there.
And they were talking.
That's what I like too. I mean, they're intelligent. Those are the scariest zombies. Really, the ones that talk and are intelligent.
Absolutely.
I love how detailed they got on some of the zombies. For example, when they finally captured that half girl zombie, the half lady zombie,
woman.
Yeah, and they tie her up, and she. I love how everything is deteriorated on her except for her titties. They're like the only things that are like almost perfectly intact.
That's the way it's got to be, man. It's a horror movie, and unfortunately, that's just the way it's got to be. But I thought that was very neat, because they were talking in this movie, and she says, it hurts.
Yeah.
And she's just like hungry. You're like, oh man, that's like crazy. That's a little wild.
Yeah, that sucks. It makes you think for a second, like, man, that must really be some pain, because I'm sure people that are dying when they are alive are in a lot of fucking pain. You're a zombie, and you're constantly, like, dying.
Yes,
all the time. Like, that's nuts. Yeah, I have no idea, or can't even imagine how that would actually feel like. But I imagine it would probably hurt pretty bad. So that was a creative little take to it, to help you understand a zombie a little bit. I guess why they like brains.
Yeah,
makes them feel better, right?
Yeah. Well, this is actually the first movie that incorporated brains for zombies. Mark, they excuse me. They used to. I mean, obviously, in George Romero's, they were eating everything, like entrails and everything. This is where the brains started. And you remember where the tar man... Brains!
Yeah,
I love him. The tar man's such an iconic character.
Yeah.
And say if you're a horror fan and you're not familiar with this movie, I'm sure at conventions or whatever horror-related thing you've been to, you've seen an image of the Tar Man. He's so iconic.
He is.
The makeup is incredible in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. And there's something with horror when you have people who like what they're doing, it shows. And there's certain movies that wouldn't get made unless the people loved what they were doing. And I feel like that's one of them, and I very much respect that. I see what they went for, and I love it.
Yeah, when somebody likes what they're doing, they put more effort into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man. It's like, I don't know, man. You just carry your work. You have passion in it. It's going to show to your fans. They're going to
take pride in your work. These people actually take pride in your work. There's a big difference when you're working just to work versus taking pride in what you do.
Exactly. And, you know, the work in this, obviously this is Tom Savini's makeup work in this, so, and you can tell. Mm-hmm. You can tell.
Yep.
Rick Baker does the best werewolves. We've established this. Uh-oh. Ozark's going to sneeze. You better not.
It's not happening yet. It went away.
Get it out. Get it out. Just, God bless you.
It's not happening. Go.
Okay. Don't surprise me now. Don't surprise me now. I get startled quickly. I gotta get a heart murmur.
A what?
A murmur in my heart. I have palpitations. I have to take Viagra for my heart.
You have murmurs.
No, I don't. I don't have anything.
In your potatoes?
Yes.
Okay, this is what I deal with when you talk to me. Mm-hmm. You make up words all the time.
No, that's not heart palpitations. That's a thing. Like palpitations.
Palpitations.
Yep.
Okay.
That's like when your heart's like skipping beats and shit, and then people feel like.
See, I don't know whether if I believe you or not because I don't know the proper term for that.
Yeah, I'm serious.
But you're a very convincing motherfucker, so I don't know because you're very confident when you tell me these things, but I feel like half the time you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Look, words and horror movies. And basketball, I guess. These are things that I like very fewly know. Like if you're like, hey, man, what's 10 times 12 divided by 84, then goes into the fifth power? I'll be like, bro, I don't know. Have you ever seen Leprechaun 2? And that would be my answer because I wouldn't fucking know. And I feel stupid. Have you ever tried to do kids' homework? I mean, we've talked about that, but it's really hard, man.
No, dude, I gave up when they started asking me for help when they were in like the 5th grade.
Yeah, man. It's just with math. Like, obviously, history and English
because
I keep up with.
Yeah, because they redo how to do math every like 3 years.
Oh, it's very aggravating. It's like,
can't we just be used to the basic system? Like, we have buildings and skyscrapers and technology with the old school math.
Yeah.
You know, like, it works. Like, stop changing it. Anyways.
America already had to switch it up by giving us our metric system and shit, you know, flipping it on its head.
Don't get me started on that shit. Anyway.
So, I'm going to give you a question, Ozark Mark.
Okay.
Favorite part in this movie? Tell these people. Maybe they feel the same.
I don't know. That's a very hard question, Christian Ramey. I'm going to have to pinpoint it down here for a second.
There's so many funny parts in it. I feel like you could literally pick a giant, like, there could be a 37-minute clip.
Like, half the movie is my favorite part.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm probably going to go with because I love the fact that out in the parking lot, people just keep coming. And once they get out, they get swarmed, like instantly by like 40 or 50 zombies.
Right.
And then my favorite part is when one of the zombies goes up to the intercom. He's like, "Send more cops."
Yeah, they had to send more paramedics. Those guys were great, dude. That had me fucking. I think it had anybody rolling who's seen this fucking movie. Their commentary. You're just not expecting a zombie to talk, man.
No, nonetheless, no to speech.
Man, if I had to pick my favorite part, there's a couple. I love the classic scene where, so at their work, like I said, they have medical supplies, and there's a cadaver inside of a human cadaver inside of this like meat locker. Well, it comes alive and it starts going crazy, and the guys are like, yeah, shit, we gotta let him out. So they let him out, and this thing starts chasing him around, and they have to subdue him, and it's a very funny scene.
It's like a Betty Hill struggle,
yes,
constantly type deal. It's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
nonstop laughs for like 20 minutes.
I agree. Like, you could probably... Somebody out there needs to edit that to that Benny Hill music. And have people going. But they end up, like, cutting this dude to pieces, this zombie. And one of the next funniest scenes is they don't know what to do with the body because all the parts are still moving. After that, like, they got his head cut off, his legs cut off, all his body parts and put in trash bags.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just moving around. So they go next door to the dude who runs he's like the mortician.
It's Ernie, right?
Yeah, Ernie. And they say, Ernie. What's funny is the dialogue because it's like they kind of did it practically like it's two dads, like real matter-of-fact dads. Like, we're not playing games here, right?
Making small talk. What you doing there, Ernie?
Right.
Oh, wow, that's really something there, Ernie. Ernie, let me ask you something. How long have we been friends?
Yeah. So,
Because you know something's coming.
And he's played by Gallagher. That guy is great. Also from A Nightmare on Elm Street 2. He was the dad, real straight-laced. And he says, Ernie, I need you to do me a favor. And he's like, sure, Frank, name it. And he says, I need you to, he showed him the bags. He's like, I need you to burn these. He's like, burn them? He's like, what are they? He's like, they're the rabid weasels. He's like, oh, that's cruel. You can't just burn them. Let me at least take them outside and shoot them. He's like,
I don't think that's gonna work.
And they like send him down. They end up opening a bag, and it's his arm, like with hand attached, and it like crawls over and grabs Ernie, and he's like, ah! He like rips his pants and shit, and they sit him down. Like,
I love Frank too. He's like, oh god.
Yeah. Frank all movie just is so like,
oh no. You think he's all tough, but once all that zombie stuff comes out, he is the biggest bitch out of all of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So Bert's like, all right, you got to help us out, Ernie. And Bert and Ernie, obviously, that's funny.
Yeah.
But then, like, as soon as he gets attacked by that arm, he just like immediately like sits down and like pulls a cigarette out and just smokes it. Like, holy shit, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's a hard thing to take. But let me ask you this. I don't think they ever said it in the movie, but what do you think the favor Ernie wanted? Now, he throughout the movie, he's like, remember that favor you owe me now?
Yeah.
He's kind of giving him weird eyes. I don't know what his favor was. I was always curious what his favor was going to ask once it was all over.
Because
they don't say it.
They don't. And Ernie was a badass. He was strapped up with a gun. He almost pulled it on them guys for walking in, because when he was walking in, he was working on a body with headphones on.
Yeah, dude, I would never do that ever.
No.
Even if I was a mortician or whatever that role is called. I think it's mortician.
Yeah, mortician. Yep.
Working on a room full of dead bodies in the middle of the night with headphones on. Fuck no.
No, bro. No.
Maybe the radio on or something, but it's like it's the same thing in a car. Like when you're driving, people drive with headphones in, dude. That's dangerous as shit.
It is. It's very dangerous.
It's the same concept. Like I can hear music, but I need to know, if a dead body comes alive or something. I'm not just gonna sit there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I feel like I could do that job, but I don't want to.
No.
I'm glad there are people, like, it's kind of one of those things like a children's hospital. I'm so happy there are people who can work there, because I don't know, like, I could probably do a mortician, but I'm definitely not child's hospital. But I feel like after time there would be like a residual something that would build up. And you would need strength to do that I don't have.
Lucky for us two bozos. There's people out there that prefer dead bodies over living bodies, and people who are set out to help children. So good for them.
You know why else we're lucky? Because there's also weirdo people who like to hear other weirdo people talk about horror movies.
That's right. That's right.
You ain't playing games, boy. So, Mark, since this is a 4th of July movie, what do you do for 4th of July? Do you got like any traditions, or every year it's different? What's going on?
Well, me and my fam, when I was a kid, we always used to have a 4th of July party at the house. We were like we had 2 neighbors, so we had like 3 yards. One of them had a pool, basketball court, everything
like
going on. Oh yeah, just like Sandlot. So we did that. I did that for a lot of years of my life, but lately, going to family parties, something like that. I always end up. People always ask me to help them with the fireworks show.
Okay.
And what pisses me off is, like, half the years I've done this, something always goes wrong, and it's not my fault. It's never my firework that I light, but everybody always thinks it's a fun gag to blame it on me. Like one year with my dad, and we were lighting off fireworks. And I light mine, and he lights his, and he runs away. He tips it over. So now it's pointed at us. Shooting into woods. Okay, so I had to run across the line of fire to get this bucket of water to put out the leaves and shit because they were burning because they were dry. So it was that time. Another time, you know, they always knock something over and it always shoots at us for some reason. It's never my fault, man.
Did I tell you or the audience my gladiator story?
Yes.
Yeah, man, that's...
Gladiator sounds like a fun game. We should try it sometime.
Yeah. If it just briefly, if you guys didn't hear it, but briefly, we used to, I don't know, we were young, like teenagers, just breaking the tops off of bottle rockets while we were in the garage, and like, you know, people were smoking cigarettes and stuff in there, and they would light one and just let it go off. And without a stick, man, it was like you never know where it'd go.
Mm-hmm.
But you would yell gladiator when you did it, and then everybody would have a chance to take cover. Well, one time when it happened, they threw it and gladiator was said, and everybody ran for the door, and like I was the last one there, right? And my last footstep, I stepped on the bottle rocket as it was like exploding, and it just tarred up my foot. It was real messed up. So I will give you the sloppy horror PSA. Please be careful with fireworks, because like Mark said, you could tip them over and get blamed for it, and it could burn somebody's house down.
Yeah,
They'll be like, it's your fault, man.
I held a pack of firecrackers for too long one time.
You get messed up?
Yeah, it burnt like half my thumb. It was a big blister like half my thumb was. I also was an idiot kid one time, and we used to have these golf holes in our yard.
Yeah.
Like golf holes. So I was an idiot, and I put a smoke bomb. I lit a smoke bomb, and I put it in the golf hole, and I sat on it because I was like, hey, it's going to look like I'm farting smoke. but you know how smoke bombs when But you know how smoke bombs, when you light them, to get started, they shoot out a flame?
Yes.
I didn't wait to sit on it till after that happened. I sat on it before that flame went out. So it burnt my ass, and I get up. I'm like, shit. So I started walking back because I'm embarrassed. My dad's like, get the fuck over here now, because my ass was on fire.
Papa Ozark wasn't playing games.
He's in there fucking hitting the shit out of me in my ass, trying to put the fire on. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? He's like, you're on fire, dumbass. I was like, oh shit.
Oh shit! Yeah,
so
see, it's easy.
You learn. You know, you learn from your mistakes, kids. And lucky for you, you won't put a smoke bomb down in a golf hole and sit on it.
Yeah, that's right. So you know, I'm telling you guys, don't play around with fireworks. And I know that not all of you listeners are American, so I don't know what kind of summer holiday you guys have that maybe we don't, but I'm kind of curious to hear it. And I'm also curious too. I mean, we've got people from all over. We got folks over there in Germany and France. So seriously, tell us what you guys do in the summer, man. Like, this is like most Americans, when you say summertime, they think of 4th of July. It's like kind of like the, I don't know. It's like the kickoff for summer, almost, in my opinion. Even though we have Memorial Day, which kind of starts it, but there's still like spring-like weather, a couple chilly days. 4th of July, brother, you're in summer.
Yep.
You're in summer. That's what's going on.
Yep. Absolutely.
This is just one of my traditions I've always had, is to watch Return of the Living Dead, man.
It makes sense. Takes place on 4th of July weekend in the movie.
Yeah, man. I maybe I'm a nerd for doing that, but I just kind of like to stick. I have like an order of the year. If you can tell me a certain horror movie, and I can tell you what month I'm probably watching it in.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it goes hand in hand with the 4th of July because it's a fun time movie, and 4th of July is one of the funnest holidays.
Yep,
it's
that
one
makes
of the
sense.
holidays I'm sure, look forward to compared to other holidays.
Yeah, Halloween is up there, obviously. 4th is up there. I'm kind of interested, though. Like, do you feel like a smart individual?
A little bit.
Do you feel like you know anything particular about this movie other people do not?
Well, let's see.
All right.
Oh, welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is the segment of the show here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie here. So, you're going to find out what we know. If you don't know what we know, then you're now going to know, and then you're going to have a we know-gasm. But if you do know, you're going to know what we know too, and we're already in sync. We're already going to cycle up here. So, why don't you start us off here and tell me something that you may or may not know about this movie.
Look here, I don't like to talk about gross stuff, but I gotta tell you guys about what's going on with this movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
But here's a weird fact
Okay.
about Return of the Living Dead.
You give it to me, baby.
So the director, Mr. Dan O'Bannon, he paid some of these zombies, the extras who played zombies.
Uh-huh.
He paid these guys extra cash money, hard cash. He paid them extra money to eat the raw cow brains.
Like raw cow brains.
Real raw cow brains, but you want to
That's
hear...
kind of disgusting.
Bro, it's more than fucking kinda that's gross. Cook it in a fucking skillet
Why
something.
don't you just use ground beef or something?
That's how you get the mad cow disease.
I know.
So,
Don't they know that? Where's the FDA in this shit?
but this crazy motherfucker.
Hold on, wait a second. Now go back. Can you actually eat cow brain? Is that like a menu item? Because I know that you eat like cow testicles and cow udders
I
and
think
shit.
I don't know. I mean, Junior, I'm not a fucking scientist here, but I've heard that. I think you eat the brains. I think that's how you get the mad cow disease. I mean,
Okay, makes sense to me. I mean, I guess so.
You know, we should call my cousin Terry. He's good with fucking science. He made straight A's. Kid was a fucking...
Sure.
He went to college. The
Yeah,
only
he's
in our
one of
fucking
those
family.
brainos,
Hey, no big deal.
No big
But
deal. Hey.
let me tell you the real kicker about the whole fucking thing.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So you're thinking, did anybody fucking do this? Well, the answer's fucking probably. Because this crazy batshit director, Dan O'Bannon, he says, I'm not going to make him do something that I wouldn't do. So this crazy guy, he picks up a handful of these raw cow brains. He goes, he eats them up right there, right in front of all the extras. All of them see it. And he says, look, I could do it. You could do it.
That's a pretty good way to get people to do it.
How much
If
extra
you do
are
it.
you paying me?
I don't know. You talk numbers, pal. It's gonna make it a lot easier here when you're offered extra money and the person paying you just did that.
Look, I'd say, look here, brother, look, I mean, I cook food, I come from a family of people cooking food. All I could do, I could make some food that looks like raw brains. It's no big deal.
Well, hey, what are you gonna do here? It's 1985. They did things different back then.
I call my sister Teresa. She'll come over. She'll make all kinds of dishes for everybody. Do you know something about this movie?
Yeah, I know something about this movie
What do
here.
you know?
So you know the director, Mr. O'Bannon.
Direct them?
The director. Did I say direct him?
Yeah, I don't know. That's how I hear it down here in my ears. They don't work so good these days.
Yeah, pull yourself together here. So the director of this movie, Mr. O'Bannon,
Uh-huh.
he was originally going to be the Frank character in this movie, who was played by James Karen.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But James Karen showed up for the audition, and Mr. Bannon was like, you know what, this ain't my role anymore. You're the guy. You.
Oh, James is the best.
You're good, you. James definitely fits it. But that'd be pretty crazy to think that the director's in like half the movie, more than half the movie. That'd be kind of hard to direct and act. I mean, some people can do it.
Yeah,
but that's a
Stallone.
lot of work. That's a lot of extra work.
Stallone with Rocky. Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, that's too much.
That's
work.
too much work, man. That's like double the work for single to pay. You know what I'm saying here?
Yeah, no big deal.
No big deal here.
Well, that's good. You got anything else? That was a good fact.
No, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's
All by
that's
itself.
really solid.
I mean, I don't think you need anything more than that.
Yeah, I think you guys could walk away and say, hey, I know a little bit extra about that movie, a little bit of flavor.
Flavor for you.
Okay, well, that's good. We'll see you guys the next time with a good movie.
Sure.
Okay. I feel informed.
As you should, because I do as well.
Good stuff, good stuff. Honestly, pondering over this again, and I didn't, even though I watch this a billion times, and I guess it's just because these actors are so familiar to me. I mean, we kind of touched base, but seriously, there's a lot of horror-friendly people in this movie. It's almost like it's made for the horror fan, made for the horror actor. It's like kind of how Rob Zombie does, where he just crews a bunch of horror actors together. I almost feel like it was a precursor to that. Somebody was just like, yo, you know, we all do scary movies. I'm trying to think of maybe my favorite actor throughout all of this, or my favorite character within the movie. Frank would be up there with his overacting. James Cameron's just overacting, but like not too much where he ruins it, but like when he's dealing with all this thing, he's like, oh God. Like he is very upset. I like him a lot.
I like Bert.
Bert's great.
He's great. He's like the typical 80s adult, mature kind of guy. He's got that voice and everything, fits the role perfectly.
Oh, I love it, dude. He's got like the gold watch and chain on.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you? Damn it, Frank.
Come on, Frank. You get over here now, Frank. Come on, be a man, Frank. I don't think I can do this, Bert. Oh,
you do a Cliff Gallagher pretty good.
Yeah, basically just quit being a pussy, you know. I also like I like the black guy dude. What's that actor's name? You know off the top of your head?
I don't, man, and I've seen him at conventions, which is bother me. It'll come to me.
I always love his interaction when they're in a heated argument between him and Bert. Like for instance, when they're gonna drive, he's like, "Man, I'll drive." He's like,
"No, man."
Bert's like, "No, I'll drive." He's like, "Fuck you, man."
Wow, what the hell? Miguel Nunez?
Yeah.
He's
what
great.
I also noticed, too, that I like that they did, is they didn't go on the stereotype of typical horror movies. He survives till the end.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Of course, till like the nuke blows them all up, but he survived.
He did.
He's going to be the one of the survivors, which is not common. So good for him. Good for him, switching it up a little bit, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
It's always good to see something different. Bet you didn't realize that, did you?
No, he didn't fare as well on the Friday the 13th.
No.
Those enchiladas were talking back at him. Yeah, that was actually kind of a cool kill. But man, this is just a memorable movie. And it's like I almost feel silly breaking it down because I feel like if you're a horror nerd, you've seen it. I really do. But if you haven't, I really hope this inspires you at some point to watch it. Now,
it'll put you in a better mood if you watch this. Seriously,
yes.
It really will. It's just a feel good, make you feel happy kind of movie when you watch it.
Yeah, I don't know what your significant other is like, but if they don't really like the horror world, if they don't like campy, if they don't laugh at campy, because that's a style. Like some people don't understand satire, like we mentioned early in the episode. Like they don't understand that it wasn't meant to be like, I don't care about plot holes and goofy shit. Now, I don't think there's plot holes in this movie, but with some, they're like, oh my gosh, man.
This movie looks horrible and all this. Like, no, it really doesn't. I mean, yeah, if you're thinking this is supposed to be a legit scary movie, which it's not.
Yeah, it's not,
you
man.
know, a lot of people forget to make sure you realize what the movie is trying to do and what it's supposed to do. That's why I think a lot of these movies don't get as much credit as they really do, because they're not going into it expecting or, you know, watching it how they should be watching it. I guess I could say that.
Yeah, I'm like a doctor, baby. I'm like a doctor, baby. A doctor. I'm saying I'll give you prescriptions of horror, but you have to come to me honestly with what your body is suffering. If you're like, man, I like horror comedy, then this is it. This is top of the list. But if you're like, nope, I like suspense, and I think that's probably, I see that too. You know, some people need to identify what their favorite genre of horror is.
Yeah, because there's all times. There's comedy horror, there's sci-fi horror, there's the slasher horror, there's
campy slasher, yep.
Psychological, paranormal, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, man, the list goes on and on. There's the torture porn kind. There's the home invasion.
There's more horror categories than there are on Pornhub.
Yeah. There really might be.
I think there is, man.
Somebody do the math. Someone help us out.
Yes, please, somebody do that, and you get back to us on that.
Join us next episode live as we pull up Pornhub. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing that.
We'll blur it.
Yeah. No big deal. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, we gotta give the chef's final kiss to this movie, I guess. I guess we gotta rate this damn thing.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Welcome, boys and girls. I hope you are doing well, and welcome to the Sloppy Horror Rating. Now, if this is your first time here, I'm saying hello and welcome. How this works is we rate this horror movie 10 points system. 3 categories. 3 categories worth 3 points. Final category is worth 1 point for a total of 10 points altogether. Christian Ramey is the horror nerd, and he never steers you wrong in a rating. He's really pretty good at this, I can honestly say. So,
Thanks, Mark.
sit back, relax.
I didn't mean to break your concentration.
Knock it off. Now I don't even remember what the hell I'm talking about, so I'm just going to go right into it.
Okay.
I was trying to give you a compliment.
You did. I was very honored by that. I appreciate it.
And you got to be all fucko over there and ruin it.
I do feel like this rating system is very individual. I mean, at least I've created this, and I do feel like it's very fair, but I did take a lot of time to put it together. But I never try to gloat or anything, but I appreciate you giving me the compliment. Thank you. That was very nice of you.
Sure. So, can I start this damn thing now?
Excuse me.
Yeah. First category in the sloppy horror rating for 3 points is casting.
Wow. Yeah. You know what's crazy? Even a lot of these movies that we've talked about, I've seen a million times, but they're a little more serious toned. So, like, I watched them 2 times almost again, or like the night before we do our episode. Even though I'm uber familiar, like Nightmare on Elm Street, for example. It's my favorite movie of all time. I don't even want to know the number of times I've watched it because I would probably be upset. You've watched that for 2 years of your life. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So, but I feel very similar with this movie that I've watched it so many times that I just didn't watch it or with the intent of rating it because it's so serious. And even though we've been talking about the casting this whole episode, I really haven't even thought of the rating of it. Right. Holy shit, 3 out of 3 with casting, man. All these guys, they're great. It's so much fun. There isn't anyone in this movie that doesn't belong. The punk crew works. The work crew works. The paramedics work. And the paramedics were really funny, too. I like when they come in.
The cops work.
Yeah.
Even the army and the sergeant.
Freeze, motherfucker!
What's for dinner? Your favorite lamb chops. No, I had that for lunch.
Lamb chops for lunch? Damn, that's some hearty eating.
Well, that's some damn sergeant who's living on the beach and shit, so fuck him. But
yeah,
yes,
3 out of 3.
3 out of 3 for casting. Very good. Go on to the next category. Is kills for 3 points.
Wow, Ozark Mark. Wowzer again. Another 3 out of 3.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious.
Well, who's the makeup artist on this movie? I cannot give a Tom Savini movie a bad rating when it comes to kills. Sorry, buddy. It's 3 out of 3. He's amazing. He's amazing. There's so many different types of zombies. There's so many different types of kills. There's brain eating. There's biting into heads. There's just mobs of zombies attacking people. There's the sawing of a body. I mean, they saw a zombie up to pieces, man. Literally.
Yeah.
They shoot them. There's all kinds of stuff. That's what makes zombies fun. How are we going to kill them?
Dude, you better get out that book. Remember that show, A Thousand Ways to Die or A Million Ways to Die, whatever the hell it was?
Yeah, I'm serious.
So that's what it is.
I feel like for horror directors, if you get into the zombie world, it's like smoking crack. Like, you're like, oh my God, like, how are we going to keep doing this every week? Like, I want to, check this out, we're going to have a lawnmower run him over. And you're like, well, actually, I had an idea where he's going to, put him in the microwave.
Just look at your surroundings for 10 seconds. I bet you down here we can figure out at least 5 or 6 ways to kill a zombie right now at the top of our heads.
Can you imagine that's somebody's job at some points in time?
Some people have the best luck, man. Tell you what.
I hope
So
we can get paid off scary movies one day.
We'll keep dreaming. We'll keep working and keep dreaming. You know what I mean?
Dream.
So, dream with us.
I was going.
Believe I can get me through the night. So we're at a total of 6 out of 10 right now. So far, it's a perfect score. But
It's not gonna be.
don't get away. Don't spoil it for people. We're not even there yet. Next category, last category, 3-point category, fear.
This is such a great movie that I don't want to give it a 0 in any category, but I'm gonna give it a half because there are weird people who are scared of the weirdest shit, and there's probably somebody that was frightened by this movie. So I will give this a 0.5 because it is Tom Savini. The zombies do look terrifying. There are, spooky imagery. I just don't know if we're so numb to whatever, I don't know if our tolerance is so high, but there are people, and let's hold aside that this was 85, right? So, I mean, let's just say 1992, there wasn't like a 12-year-old that watched this or like an 8-year-old who was like,
Well, there's somebody that's gonna. There has been somebody. There's no way there hasn't been somebody that wasn't scared of this movie.
I'm giving it 0.5.
But it's very
for that.
small.
Yeah, I'm giving it 0.5.
It's about the same odds. If you put the odds of getting struck by lightning compared it to the odds of people that are scared by this movie, they're about the same in the people in the world.
1/2.
1 diagonal line 2 is that
1/2.
score for that.
Yes. 1/2 for you.
1 what for me?
1/2 for you. What's the matter?
1
Mark?
heart.
Mark, you always talk to me like this. I said 1/2.
1/2 for fear. So that puts us at 6.
1/2.
6.5 points out of 10. So the last category worth 1 point. Does Christian fuckhole Ramey listen to?
That's
not listen.
me.
Not listen. What am I saying? Fuck with this movie.
I absolutely do.
I'm so shocked. I mean, how could you not fuck with this movie? Really? I mean, be real about it.
You have to be very pretentious not to be.
You have to be. I don't know. Let's see. Who wouldn't like this movie?
Okay, I don't know if you guys like
Who wouldn't like this movie? Seriously.
very religious folks, like say like just the folks that are like, we're not watching any kind of R-rated pictures, like those kind of people. But I'm not recommending anything for you to do, but let's just say you're an individual. Maybe you like to pour a strong drink, or maybe you like to roll one up, or whatever you do. I don't care what you do.
A fruit roll-up.
Sure, yeah, fruit roll up. Roll that sucker
A tall
up.
drink and fruit roll-up is what you said.
Yeah, so you take that strong drink and you take that fruit roll up to the face, and you put this movie on, and tell me you don't chuckle a little bit. And if you say no, you're awfully pretentious. You need to relax a little bit in life because
If
it's
you
not that
say-
serious.
if
It's
you
not
say-
that serious. It's just life, bro.
If you say no, I don't want to live in the same city as you. That's how close I don't want to be to you.
Yeah. And what bothers me is somebody would be like, the plot doesn't even like tie in, and it's like,
No,
it's not
that's
about
when
that. That's
no,
not
that's
about that.
that's when you just grab the nearest thing near you and chuck it at them and get them away from you, because that type of shit is not. You don't need that in your life. Get that away. You go away. You shoo and you never come back.
The Return of the Living Dead makes my sides hurt. I laugh so damn much. I really do. I mean, I laugh so much. Like, even if I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to just watch this subjectively. You can't, man. It's just so funny.
It is. It's great.
It's a piece of art, man.
It's so fun. It's really fun.
The album art, or like the sleeve for the VHS of this is, I mean, not to be corny, but it's beautiful. It is a piece of 80s, like, just gold. Mm-hmm. If you had that when we were kids, if you saw that sucker, you're like, I'm watching this for sure. It's like a headstone with Return of the Living Dead written into it. Like, oh, it's great.
Dude, some of the 80s VHS artwork was some of the coolest ever. I always used to, when video stores were still around, like every time I was in the video store with the kid, I would always wander off to the horror section just to look at the covers and shit.
Like,
they're always awesome, man.
That's what happened, Mark. So the movies, the drive-ins, obviously, those took off. And then in that early 80s, when things started to get, sequels started happening, they're like, man, we made this good money, so we'll boom into a sequel. Then VHSs came out, and that boom happened. And we've talked about this before. It was very rarely for people of our generation or before, unless you were old enough to see the franchise start. Sometimes when you were younger, you would just watch a random-ass horror movie. Somebody's like, I got Evil Dead 2. Before you saw Evil Dead 1 or something. Sometimes that's just how it happened. You never knew what video somebody had. It wasn't like you're going to stream it. If somebody's like, I got Friday the 13th Part 4. And that's like what you started on. That's not a bad choice, first off, but in the same light, that's just how it was, man. Like, it wasn't readily available, so the movies that impacted you were oftenly sequels, which was random, but that's just kind of the way it worked. So you're very much correct in that. And this just kind of fell right in that kind of category. Just beautiful artwork on this sleeve, man. Great job, the whole movie, the soundtrack, the cast, just the pace of it. Nobody's too serious, but they made it serious enough where it was still a movie.
Yeah, it's a great. You don't have to think.
Yeah.
When you watch this.
No,
it's not an intense story. You don't have to. You don't need anybody's backstory. You don't need to remember anybody really. It's just they're all. It's just a situation.
Human survival.
Here it is. Human survival. That's it. And people getting fucked up by zombies, which is always hilarious.
Yeah, it's like because obviously, like, with TV shows like The Walking Dead, that's an episodic thing, or an episodal thing, so it goes on for on and on and on, and you could take it on for years.
That show is still going on, for Christ's sake. Just end the shit.
Yeah, right. That's a whole nother thing. But when you have a movie, you don't have that, so it's a short story. Mm-hmm. And there's just this, like, intensified, fast, like, all right, you got this group of people. Some of them are funny. Some of them are kind of ballsy. But all of them, you kind of fuck with. You kind of like all of them. Yep. There's, like, even Trash, Lynnea Quigley's character, who's, like, naked. And she's, like, excuse my French, but she's a slut, like, proudly claimed. Like, she's just nuts, right? And she's still a cool character. Mm-hmm. She's like dancing naked on a grave, like, shit, but like in a cool way. Like, there's like zombies coming out, and she comes back as a really sweet zombie, actually. Yes. Mm-hmm. Real seducing zombie. I can't complain with any of this, man. No. There's just no complaints from me. Please go out and watch it. And if you have seen it, watch it again. It's 4th of July, man. 4th of July. What's wrong, Ozark? You look upset down there.
No, I'm fine.
All right.
I zoned out. I'm not going to lie to you.
I do that sometimes too, man. It just happens, but I think that's the sign of being intelligent. You've got shit on your mind.
No, I just zoned out. I don't think I was really thinking about anything.
There had to be a thought in your brain.
No.
It couldn't have been about nothing.
There was nothing. I have the ability to do that. Think about nothing. It's very good talent.
I'm very jealous of that.
Oh, I know. You wonder why I can sit around and we can hang out forever and I can not say a word for at least an hour? Because that happens.
We're like PB&J, though, brother. Like, if you were like me, I wouldn't like you. And if I was like you, you wouldn't like... it's like, that's just the way things are, I think.
Sure.
I think that's like kind of dating somebody. You could date somebody similar to you, but they can't be the same exact person, or you would hate them.
No. I got the opposite attract one for sure. Me and my wife are completely different in almost every category.
Yep.
Every category.
I feel the same.
I think the things we have in common are like the same. I only need this. I can count on my fingers. I guarantee it.
I agree, but I think that's what to make a strong human being is to accept like somebody to accept, because it keeps you balanced, man, because it is kind of cool. Like, especially, my situation the same. I'll go upstairs, I'll be like, yeah, so I'm thinking about, we're gonna do a Return of the Living Dead episode and this and that. And she's like, well, that's great. And you're like, all right, I love you. Thank you. She's very supportive, very great, but it's like I like the balance of it all. It just, it very much helps me out. But yeah, man, I hope you guys have a great, 4th of July. I hope your summer's starting off good. Throw it in the mix, throw this movie in. And we want to be seasonally appropriate throughout all, so you can expect that from us. If there's a seasonal horror movie, we're going to be talking about it. We'll be right here. And if you're new to the channel, if you've came from TikTok, we very much appreciate you, or wherever the hell you came from. We love you guys. And our forever listeners, we love you guys too. We'll let you know. There's going to be merch coming out soon, and it's convention season, like we said.
There's going to be merch, and there's going to be some cool giveaways.
Yes, and it will be affordable. We're not those kind of people. And honestly, I'm gonna tell you guys straight up. If you guys are the listeners from like out in Germany, if you guys are the guys from out in France, shoot us a message or whatever. We'll send you guys some shirts or whatever. We appreciate you guys listening. So, and that's all over. We appreciate all of you. We're here talking about scary movies. I'm with like one of my brothers here talking about horror movies. Hell yeah, man. That's a good life. That's a good life. No complaints.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, hell yeah, man. I hope you guys have a great time. We'll be back next week. Mark will be clapping them cheeks, and I'll be back, spitting some scary movie facts. What will it be about?
Well, you're just gonna have to wait and find out.
Yeah, boy, yeah. We love you guys.
Seriously, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
I've been drinking beers, man. I've been drinking beers.
I've been trying to hold it back. Burp one more time, motherfucker.
I have gastrointestinal problems.
Burp one more fucking time.
If you had gastrointestinal
Stop
issues,
eating shit that makes you burp.
I didn't even eat anything today.
Then how are you burping?
I don't know. Beers. These are IPAs. IPAs.
Stop drinking that shit, man.
Oh, bro, they're heavy hitters. I can't drink 12 beers.